Hi, I hope you're doing great. I hope your family's doing well. Give them all a hug and a kiss for me and a wink. And then go over to your pet and give the pet some nice rubs, a kiss, and I'll get started on this particular video. And it's about Meghan and Harry, the royal family, and all the little kitties. Okay, so let's start with these guys are going to save the royal family. Can you believe it? Well, you can't believe anything you read in the British press. They are totally prejudiced against these two, and they have been not just because of Meghan, but because of the royal family and money-wise what it means to England. Now, Harry, being the spare, was not given the special treatment that William got, and I'm sure he was abused much along the way during his young life and well into his 20s. He, however, had no idea because he was brought up to like the press. He was always cutely waving to the press. He'd turn around. He'd give them extra long waves when he was with his mother, Diana. And he was confused as to why all these people were taking pictures of him. But I guess they had explanations that he could listen to. And he seemed to really play into it and adopt a friendly manner towards these press people, even though it was still confusing to him because he was just a baby. He was just a child. He was as little as that child sitting on his knee right there, and younger. I mean, he was introduced to the press at birth. Well, so you can't believe anything in the British media. And the reason is Harry, for many years, has been suing the British media. It takes years to get a case to court, as you can tell by Donald Trump. And now he has won a verdict. He hasn't won all that he asked for, but he won a lot of what he asked for. And the reason he didn't win all is because he didn't have enough evidence. I mean, some of these things happened when he was so young. He didn't know what was going on, and he didn't realize that there was a whole network of people, some of which were disguised as friends, some of which were disguised as family, and some of which were disguised as loving reporters and so forth. And so he didn't know where to start. He didn't know exactly who was friend and foe. But these two are going to save the royal family and all of the royal children. Even though they're being pushed out, the royals have no idea what a great value these two are playing in the families and in the future history of the families. They're saving the kids from being pawns, patsies, used by everybody in England for selling media. And this is what I've learned. It's very sketchy, but this is part of what I earned from this latest victory of Harry against the Mirror. Now, you picture Harry at this age. Here you can see the kids again. They're being abused. There's George. Somebody has a stranglehold on his neck. He's carrying a teddy bear. What the heck is going on there? These kids have no idea of personal space. Nobody should ever touch a child like that. Nobody should ever get a stranglehold on their neck. And he's carrying a teddy bear to say, hey, I am a young kid. So These kids grow up like that. They grow up not knowing their personal space. They think everybody has access to them. They're waving at everybody. They're allowing people to approach them, total strangers. They're not aware of germs or possible contamination or threats to their health. They are just put out there and they're used as part of the dolls of England. They're meant to say, oh, how cute, how whatever. Except for this guy. Now, this is Lewis. This is the youngest one. And he's being made the fool. Every time he comes out, they talk about how the bad things he does, the crazy things he does. He doesn't act normal. He's like Andrew maybe was, or, Harry was. And the media just go in on him. He has no protection, and everything he does is magnified. There's always a camera on him. Everything he says or does, every face he makes. And if you laugh or give attention to a kid who makes a face, they're going to do it over and over again and worse because they think that is what they're supposed to do. So this is Lewis, and he's currently being abused because he is being pictured as the clown. So what future does he have? Now here we have little Charlotte, cute little kid, and she is with her cousin Mia, and they're talking. But she doesn't know that she has to be very careful of everybody, even Mia. Who knows what Mia is going to grow up to do? She is probably telling all the family secrets to Mia, and she's telling her most private thoughts to Mia because she doesn't have access to many people in the family. Now maybe Mia will keep her secrets, but if Mia's offered $100,000 by a reporter to write up a book on Charlotte, will Mia be able to refuse? Who knows? Now we all remember Andrew's wife, and we know that she was selling secrets to the Queen. She was selling access to the Queen. She was smoking cigarettes and her hair was all in disarray and she looked really pitiful. And then she was on the phone. They had her photographed on the phone saying, yeah, I can get you to meet the Queen. I can give you access to the Queen. How much are you going to pay me to do that? And so she was doing deals like that. So this is a member who married into the royal family, Sarah Ferguson. Let me see, the mother of Beatrice, and I'm thinking of the other one. Well, I'm blanking on the other one. But she's the mother. She's Andrew's ex-wife, but she still lives with Andrew. She was booted out for a while, but she came back. Her kids are older now, and they are helping to bring her back into the royal family. But she needed money. She was selling secrets. She was selling access. Who was she talking to? The newspapers. She was talking to anybody who would listen. And so these are the kinds of things that was been going on since Harry was little. She was probably selling all kinds of information about Harry when he was a kid, because she was in the family. She had the ability to watch him behind the scenes. She had the ability to set him up, make sure that things were going to happen to him that would make good media fodder. And she had the ability to listen, get to his papers, get to his phone, all kinds of stuff. So what Sarah Ferguson did totally as a spy for the media, we don't know. But right now she is working to get back into good graces. So all of these people are vulnerable. All of these people can be abused. And they think they're safe because they have these military people behind them. But even they will sell secrets because who knows that they're doing it? It's all a secret. And that's what's come out in the lawsuit, Harry versus the Mirror. And he has several other lawsuits against media people, and they use all kinds of people, servants, cooks, relatives, friends of the kids. They're always talking about Harry's childhood friends, Harry's schoolmates, and so forth. But they were selling secrets about Harry. When you're in school and you're a child, you expect that your mistakes, we all make mistakes and do crazy things in school. We all have things we're good at and things we're not good at. But even the teachers, Harry's teachers, were even selling things to the newspapers. We've all heard about the comparison between William and Harry in their grades and how they're doing in school. Well, how did that get out? Teachers don't normally talk, but in this case, you slide them some money, you slide the headmaster of the school some money, and they will talk like a bird. They just sing like a bird. And so they did with Harry. They were talking about subjects he didn't do well in. They said he didn't do as well as William. They said they would put Harry in art classes, but Harry does have a good ability in art from what I'm told. But they don't emphasize his abilities. They only try to go to his disabilities or the things he's not the strongest in. And that's where you need protection of your kids. You don't know where they're going to end up. You don't know if somebody's going to be a math genius or if somebody's going to be an artist or if somebody's going to be in music. But they should not be bashed by the teachers, the school, your school quote-unquote chums, the janitor of the school, anyone they might talk to in the school that might have access to them and the ability to spy on them, get information. Say if the janitor talks to the teacher and then the janitor sells information to the newspapers, that's what was happening with Harry. And that's why a lot of Harry's case is very hard to prove, because he was just a kid. Just like these guys, he was just a kid. So what's going to happen? Well, you know, the media loves to, as I said, what they do with Lewis, they love to focus in on him. And we are told every time they make a face, every time they touch something, every time they look at somebody, every time they walk around, we are, they're photographed holding hands. We go over their clothing. We go over anything they hold. If they hold a teddy bear, they're just ridiculous. You shouldn't focus on kids this much. They should be able to pick their nose and not have it blasted on the news. They should be able to ask a lot of dumb questions, because they're not dumb when you're a kid. That's how you learn. But in the case of these kids, they get magnified to death. And that's why you will not see Meghan and Harry's kids, because they have to grow up and the media loves to pick on Meghan and Harry, and they just want more fodder. They want to get Meghan and Harry's kids in front of the camera so they can make fun of them and they can belittle them. They can demean them. They can they can watch them every second, whether they're in a tree or whether they're in a bush or whether they're riding by every 5 minutes in a car. They just want access so they can belittle, demean, and make the kids feel insecure and, not enough. They want the kids to feel not enough. They're going to try to compare Harry's kids to William's kids and try to find that William's kids are better. And so you will not see Harry's kids, and that is the best thing to do. Now, here we have Harry and Piers Morgan. One of the things that came out as I listened to one organization is that Piers Morgan has been found guilty in the Mirror case. So he has been found guilty of spying and doing all kinds of criminal activities against Harry for the newspaper. And he now will have to undergo a criminal trial. That's why Piers was so harsh on Harry and Meghan and their lifestyle. He knew he was involved in this lawsuit, and he hated them for dragging him in and for making accusations. He felt he would win, but when the trial came up, Piers Morgan refused to go to the trial. He refused to appear at all. He didn't make any comments, so he was found guilty, and Piers knew he was guilty, and that's why he didn't show up. So that is why, on some of the counts, because Piers refused to show up and defend himself, that also helped Harry's case. Now we hear that Harry won, like 180,000 or something, and didn't win all of the money he was asking for. Well, one of the things they don't tell you is that there are a lot of defendants. A lot of accusers. It wasn't just Harry. And what it's going to end up, the Mirror, run by Rupert Murdoch, is going to end up paying like $1 billion, with a B, $1 billion on losing this lawsuit. Now, I'm not sure whether it's this lawsuit or the combination of lawsuits. It wasn't made quite clear, but it is going to cost Rupert Murdoch not just the little bit of money we heard that Harry won, but a total of $1 billion by Harry and the others bringing these cases against the English media. They are just terrible. And finally, Harry and the others are doing something that the parents of Harry should have done. Well, of course, Diana was deceased, but it should have been Charles. But Charles was too busy having sex with Camilla, hiding out, and he was not protecting his children. Now, Omid Scoby, we hear a lot about him, and certainly the media has jumped on him as being fake. Every news person says, I never heard of him, who is he, blah, blah, blah. But I heard an interview with Omid Scoby, and he is very credible. He is a very valid investigative reporter. He is not just a close friend of Harry and Meghan. In fact, they're not close friends at all, according to how he describes how he got involved with their situation and how he reports. He is not a close friend at all. He is an investigative reporter, and he writes about what he has found in his investigations. So he put that in Endgame, and it is not just a report that he did to make his friendship closer to Harry and Meghan. He did that through his investigative reporting. And the reason the media came out so heavily against Omid Scoby is because he was listed in the beginning of the lawsuit as a listed witness against the newspapers. So the newspapers went into attack mode against Omid Scoby. They wanted to ruin his name. They wanted to ruin his reputation. They wanted to ruin anything he said. And they just wanted to get at him so that by the time he became a witness, his name would be mud. His name would be dirt, and nobody would believe anything that he said. Well, Omid Scoby, it turns out, is a very valid investigative reporter. He is independent, and he has been vindicated when he was in the court, and he described what he knew and how, and his background and his method of working. The court said this is a very credible person. They believed Omid Scoby, and so he was a great witness for the people who were bringing this case against the Mirror newspaper. So we need to applaud Harry and Meghan. These two will be the saviors not only of William and Kate, but of their children, George, Charlotte, and I always forget the little one's name. Well, I forgot his name. But anyway, of the three children and of their own children, they are keeping them out of the media because their media in England is nasty and evil and treats this royal family like fodder. Harry always said he felt that their family was like being in the Truman Show, and he is right. Everybody was spying on him. They probably had cameras in his bedroom and he didn't know it. And throughout the castles, the places they went, they probably had chauffeurs and so forth reporting on them, everything they said. And they were all collecting money from the newspapers. So Rupert Murdoch will pay a whole lot of money for this mirror case, losing it. Piers Morgan will have to, according to the people who reported on what really happened in this case, Piers Morgan will have to undergo a criminal trial for his criminal activities against the people who bought this case, against the mirror, and Harry and other defendants. I think there are over 50 people who are complaining, still have a few, 3 or more cases against the media in England. Now, Rupert Murdoch is going to have a big decision. This is costing them a lot of money, although they don't publicize it because the media is not going to say anything bad about the media. They're not going to say anything bad about Piers Morgan. They're not going to say anything bad about the other people who are regularly reporting negatively about Harry and Meghan, or other people that they have news about. But Rupert Murdoch knows that this is costing them lots and lots of money. They have 3 or more cases still to go, and with the amount of money they're going to lose on this mirror case, and their cases might be even weaker in the coming cases, and there are so many plaintiffs that they will have to decide whether they will just settle, not go to court, or will they go to court and risk having to pay not only whatever damages or penalties are given to the plaintiffs, but also all of the attorneys' fees. And when you have 50 people and you have all of those attorneys, that's a lot of money, and that could put Rupert Murdoch out of business. So this is a very serious case. Let's applaud Harry and Meghan for pursuing this. And the royal family should be very, very happy and very proud because they are saving the future generations in England. In fact, they should finance Harry and Meghan and front the money that they are spending to put these cases on. Harry is the butt of criticism for bringing these cases, and they often try to make it look like a joke that he's even bringing it. But in the end, Harry is winning, the royal family is winning, and most of all of the children of the royal family are winning. And they know it, and they need to help financially sponsor these cases because they are winning. And they have the money to do it. But it takes Harry. Without Harry, this wouldn't have been done. We might have seen little Charlotte showing her nether region or having sex with a rapper. We might see little George taking drugs or shooting up in an alley. Or we might see, I wish I could remember his name, the other little one, out using prostitutes, kind of like Uncle Andrew, and pedophilia. So let's give it to Harry and Meghan for all their trials and tribulations, all of the media criticism. They are making great steps forward, and they are helping not only England, but definitely the royal family. Thanks, guys. Bye.